Thanks for everybody's patience this morning. All right, I will call the, what's today? February 28th meeting, 29th, excuse me, leap year. Happy leap year. The February 29th meeting of the Personnel Subcommittee to order. We are considering one bill, the Library Workers Empowerment Act, otherwise known as the Statewide Library Collective Bargaining Bill. There are a handful of amendments to the bill, and I'm going to move the amendments and then we can go through and discuss them. Is there a motion to move the amendments? Second? Okay, so there's a couple of amendments in the bill. For the most part, there was pretty good agreement between the library administrators and our labor unions as we worked through this. This is obviously a bill that we've considered in this committee, in this chamber before. A couple of the amendments that had been offered and proposed by organizations we could not accept because they were the bill has been conformed to the Public Employees Relations Act, which we passed in the General Assembly last year, that sort of sets global collective bargaining requirements across state government. It was a good bill. Yeah, I wonder who could have sponsored that. And so there are just a couple of amendments that I did want to walk through. And again, both sides sort of got a couple of things that they wanted and both sides didn't. So I think that's usually a good sign of a compromise. And this is, I think, a really solid piece of legislation going forward. So amendment number one, obviously, is technical. And then the other pieces of amendments. So there had been a request by the library administrators to clarify that the governing body of the libraries was made clear that there is a distinction between the Board of Trustees, which sort of manages the day-to-day operations, and the actual funding body of the library, which is often the county or city governments. So we clarified that. We added the applicable county after governing body. There were, again, a couple of requests by the library administrators around the timing and the number of days in between steps. Again, we rejected most of those because those are set out in the Employee Relations Act. We did strike a provision in the bill around mandating binding arbitration for discipline, but what we did do was add a provision at the end that just makes it clear that binding arbitration is something that can be negotiated between whatever the union representation is and the library system, and that's how it's worked in Baltimore County, which got enabling legislation. Again, this is only enabling legislation, so this is up to each individual jurisdiction to make the decisions, and the jurisdictions that are already covered under collective bargaining, which is Montgomery, Baltimore County, and Baltimore City, are fully exempted from this bill to make sure. And Prince George's, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Webb. So we wanted to make sure that those already existing agreements are untouched and kept in place. If for some reason those unions were to decertify at some point in the future and they were to come back again for collective bargaining, they would have to go through the process that's spelled out in this bill. Any questions on the amendments? Second? All right. We already moved. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye. All those opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Can I get a motion on the bill? All right, all those in favor of the bill, say aye. All those opposed? We recognize Delegate Grice. Oh, and Delegate Heimbaugh and Delegate Mangione. All right, the ayes have it, and we are adjourned. Thank you.